Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back to the show. We are excited to have Billy Giannouloudis here joining us today from Billy G Life Coaching. How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. New listeners out there need to know all about this life coaching process because you are exclusive, you are unique, you're awesome and amazing. So how could you help us?
Phenomenal. What's going on, guys? I'm Billy Giannouloudis from Billy G Life Coaching, and I'm out of Boston, Massachusetts, but we've taken life coaching and speaking literally around the world at this point, through our entire country and Canada now, with a bunch of clients coming out. But we love to dive into the mind with people, but truly build that connection with the mind, the body, and the soul, and help people truly achieve their goals on every single front. And seeing the results from clients has been phenomenal. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. I know you've worked with so many people before and you're helping so many people out. Give us the best forms of contact for you to find out more information.
Yep, of course. So guys, you can go to billygLifeCoaching.com. You can literally set up a free call with me right there, or you can find me on Instagram at Billy Giannouloudis. You can find me on YouTube once a week with Billy G. Guys, reach out, direct message me, and I will be there and get right back to you, and we can start a conversation.
Awesome. Speaking of a conversation today, our topics and talking points, we're talking about starting our day in the right direction. That's true. What are some tips? I mean, obviously, we all like to get well rest and get up early. Tell us the keys to starting the day off right.
Yeah, of course. And how this topic came about, which is why I wanted to dive into it today, is a couple clients this week have explained how they're starting the day and they just feel low. Mm-hmm. And they're eating healthy, they're getting enough rest, they're trying to be active and do everything under the sun, but they're still low. So we started diving into where our focus point is when we start our day. And this is something we teach in our seminars and what we teach to companies and everything. And I call it your focus point power. And when you start your day and you say that you're feeling low, all right, where are your thoughts more than anything else? Yes, your body might be tired. Yes, you might have to roll over and hit the alarm. But what are you thinking about that's telling you you feel low? And how this kind of continued with our clients is everyone has their own specific daily routine. And I think, Jill, you and I talked in one of our first talks together on a morning routine that works for people. But when our thoughts are in such a low place, you know that the rest of your day is going to be wall after wall after wall. But if you make that shift to start, all those walls come down from that point on.
Yeah. I don't even remember the morning. See, I have 5 and 7-year-olds. My morning routine is kind of like the same, but it's stressful. Mornings are stressful around my house. And I think if you start the day off chaotic and stressful, I think it's a problem. It makes me so less productive. If I don't get up before my kids, which I don't every day. I don't feel right. I don't have enough time to do things. Everything gets backed up. It's a trickle down effect of starting your day off right. And then you always remember the morning, what happened. It just makes it so much better.
Yeah, no, it's true. And like you said, it is a trickle down effect when we don't start in that, I guess we say great way. And that doesn't mean that, yes, your routine gets thrown off because, this wasn't right. And then your entire day gets thrown off. But why I love bringing it up to people is when you can catch yourself, when you can really catch yourself from going down that, I don't want to say a negative road, but that low road, you really can start to see it. And that's everything we do with coaching and what we bring to clients is teaching you that personal power, being able to catch your thoughts before they go down the negative route, and you can shift it. And that's what we did with a client early this week on Monday. He loves starting our sessions on Mondays because it builds the rest of his week for him. And he brought up that when I'm just feeling low, Bill, and he wanted to go, Bill, I was going to call you on Sunday because I just felt so low waking up. But I was like, you know what? I know I can get through this. I'm seeing him tomorrow. I can challenge myself. So that in itself, like, hey, good for you.
Absolutely.
You taught yourself. When we started diving into it, all right, where were your thoughts? And it was all over the aspects, which I'm sure people relate to. Feelings of unimportance, feelings of, is this really what I want to do? Feelings of, man, I got to go through all this today and keep going. And when we dive into that, that shows you if those are your thoughts and you're questioning right there, am I important? As we've gone over before, how we teach in our seminars and everything is your brain's a supercomputer. You ask it a question, it will give you an answer. It's just like Google. I love teaching in front of audiences that, and I hold my phone up, and the phone can do anything at this point. We have so much in our pockets,
Sure.
but it's a carbon copy of how powerful our mind is. And as much as you can type a question into Google and get an answer, every single thought that you have is a question you're asking yourself. So if your day starts with, I just feel unimportant right now, I don't feel too good, you're setting that in motion for one, which dives into universal law of attraction type aspect too. But at the same time, if you shift that, even if you don't feel it right away, but you shift it to, you know what, I feel great today. It's going to feel weird because you're trying to break that pattern. But what comes the rest of your day is you're building your new routine. You're building your pattern. And for our client, he made that click. He shifted it all together. He's like, I get that. And it's just to see his energy shift in a session. Oh my goodness. It's like the rest of his day was set. He texted me at night. He goes, I'm so ready for this week. And he just
Right.
felt by that one perspective shift, we'll say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's exactly what you're talking about today, right? That's your focus point perspective. What did you call it?
I like to call it focus
point power.
Yeah.
Got it. You say if we can learn to catch ourselves with our thoughts, we can change so much.
Yeah.
Could you talk specifically more about diving into those type of sessions?
Of course. Yeah. So like I said, that was one example with our Monday client. He's phenomenal, great guy. And he's just launching. He's like a rocket ship. And that's the metaphor we use with him now, because he's on his way. But with all of us, with whether it's a morning routine or whatever, we all have so much power to catch that thought and shift it. And I think just with how all of our days individually go, the brain is really wired this way. There is so much negativity in the world. Our brains have now become accustomed to it, where we see that and we pick the negativity more than anything. It is then our job as individuals, it is our personal power as individuals to shift that, to realize that, and choose the greater over the lesser, choosing the better over the worse. And that's all our perspective. But, this was another thing I was going to bring up today is everything comes down to how you feel, right? So if you're feeling low, if you're feeling like your energy isn't there, if you're feeling just not happy, okay, everything we do, if it comes down to you're trying to catch a feeling, like someone right now is listening to the podcast Business Students Network because they're trying to learn something, they're trying to gain something. That's a feeling. You're feeling like you're getting something out of this, which is going to help you and propel you forward in whatever direction they absorb from it. If we're trying to catch a feeling, even if, I'm a gym guy, if my cheat meal, oh, phenomenal, how's a pizza, ice cream, whatever it is, that's a feeling I'm trying to gain from going to get that. So when we're feeling low and you're shifting it, you're learning to catch yourself, you're learning to catch these questions and shift that to, again, come back to the better or the greater, where I know that I can accomplish this. I always like to throw different vocabulary out to my clients, where if you're in control of your mind, if you're in control of your inner self-talk, have fun with it. And you've already heard it probably say it like 3 times in this interview. The word phenomenal is just, it's so accustomed to me now, but it's not accustomed to so many people. But if you woke up in the morning and just tell yourself, I feel phenomenal today, it's usually not the same vocabulary running through the wires of your mind.
True.
But that shift in vocabulary is so powerful enough to shift your morning, to shift your day, to catch your thoughts so you feel better. And when you feel better, just as meditation, prayer, law of attraction, everything teaches us, when you feel it, it comes right to you.
It's like manifesting our own wants and desires. This is what it is. It's positive thinking, I'm trying to equate this to, like, you hear about this, but it is your mindset, and this is all related. Okay, continue. Go ahead.
No, you're 100% chill. It's mindset related, but as we've gone over in other interviews, mindset, spirituality, your body, they're all intertwined. That's why Billy G Life Coaching, and our goal is to help people with all 3 of them, and the trifecta, bring it together. Because when someone can make a shift, even if you start on a physical goal, where you're coming in, it's like, we help people with fitness aspects and nutrition, and we have all these contexts to help people with that. But when people can come in with a fitness goal, and then that helps them understand, I did it. I stuck to my routine. I stuck to my diet. I stuck to the workout. That's a mindset piece at that point. And then when your mind gets underway, if people are open to it, as we've gone over before, you can dive deeper where you actually find that your mind is so connected on a spiritual level. That's when you get in tune to bringing more into your life. Because when you're feeling great, as we just said, as you said, Jill, manifestation, law of attraction, universal aspects, when your energy rises, you're putting it out there. If you're in the gym, putting the energy in, or you're going for a run or a walk, that starts the process. Your mind gets in a better place because you're feeling active, you're changing your physiology. From that point, you dive into a spiritual aspect where if you're living at that energy, what else can you, as you said, manifest or create or bring into your life? When you really dive into it and bring the trifecta together, oh my goodness, life becomes so fun. Life becomes so enjoyable. And I think that's something we're missing out in the world today, where there's so much going on. We forget that life is meant to be fun and enjoyable.
Yeah, we do. We lose that, don't we?
Right? Yeah.
And as we get older,
True. Very true.
you think about the mindset of a child.
Yep.
That innocence, that spontaneity, that carefree attitude, and they're just so genuinely happy. We lose that as we get older because of our structure, because we're told not to, we're learned to, it's just, and you become so different. But having kids, you get to relive that. And then there's moments I catch myself and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hated when my mother used to tell me I didn't want to play with you. So I'm like, I'll be that person. After soccer, we took the playground last night. I was the only parent. I'm like, did I really want to stay at the playground? But they wanted to play. I didn't seek at the playground. So I'm like, think about how you felt as a kid when your parents said no. And it's that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. That's so true. I love how you do that too, because on a deeper level, those kids, as you said, you remember with your mom, your kids now have a new memory with you, which sets the tone for so much more with wherever their lives choose to go. Yeah. Right. And those moments to have with kids, as you said, a child has that innocence. A child or younger child, I believe the ages are 0 to 12. You have a perspective of the world where anything is possible. School doesn't necessarily challenge you too much at those ages to where you actually have to think and see the perspectives and how society is. So from that window, you're just living life, childlike faith, as they say, where if I can fly, I'm going to try it. And you jump off the deck, and that's the joy of being a kid. But as we get older, it is our job, I believe it's our duty to make sure we can find some aspect of that. And Jill, you gave the example. Your kids are your example of having a childlike aspect for yourself again, where you can live and feel that joy and connect it all together. What that does to your specific energy. Oh, I'm sure you feel as tired as you may be and having to watch the kids. I'm sure you feel phenomenal knowing that you did it. Right?
I do. Yes. I do. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. And I've had so many examples because with life coaching, I got to mentor a lot of kids in the inner cities and the other aspect of it. And it's exactly what you said with your own example, where you can remember those moments where your mom would tell you, no, I can't play right now. So I became the mentor where with the younger kids, like 7-year-old kids and everything, where they'd been through terrible situations and traumas. I looked at it like no matter what struggle a kid was going through, he needed to have that joy. And that comes back to the fun aspect, the joy of life, because it doesn't necessarily erase the struggle that happened, but it shows you that the world is still a good place. So we'd go in these sessions and, it would be at the park or a pond or something like that. It could be the middle of winter and it would be like 10 degrees outside. And, me would go up for the session and I go, hey man, you want to go to the library and we'll go do X, Y, and Z? No, can we please just go to the pond and walk around? I go, and so me being the person, like, oh, we're going to sit in the 10-degree weather. I couldn't let myself think like that, because if this kid wanted to do it and that was going to make him happy, yes, we're going to go do this. And then now his favorite memories, and this is years ago. So this kid will reach out to me now that he has a phone and text like, hey, those sessions meant the world to me because you gave me the opportunity. That's all a kid's asking for is time. Sure. But on a human level, we just need that joy, whether it's with our kids, whether when we're adults. I always love directing my clients, no matter what age they are, back to the fun, back to the joy, because you're going to find that no matter where you go, it is the joy, it is those fun moments, it's your hobbies, your interests you had as a kid that still light you up. And it paves the way for where you're meant to go in life. Because when we're younger, those little moments are there for a reason to direct every single decision we make in a much positive way.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that and reminding us. BillieGLifeCoaching.com.
Yep,
Um,
BillieGLifeCoaching.com, exactly.
Awesome. Just a reminder if you're tuning in now, who we're talking to, Billie Giannouloudis here, also studied, mentored under Tony Robbins. Just for those new listeners, remind us a little bit about your background, please,
Yeah,
and we'll
of course.
continue.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no. As you said, studied under Tony Robbins and his team of therapists. That's what kind of opened the doors, opened the gates of life coaching for me. And that's an experience in itself. But now I take that and I dove deeper into mindset, spirituality, and really try to bring everything together for the individual to help them achieve a goal, result, bettering their self, whatever term it is, in such an incredible way to help them move forward in life. And truthfully, I like the term live life on your own terms. That's what I like to help people do. And when you really do the work, that's where it comes down to.
Yeah. And it's about putting in and getting back. And so just give us some examples of some of the things you're working on with some clients as far as the life coaching business and process and what you're working on, like manifesting and helping people through at this time.
Yeah, of course. So we used the example earlier. Our Monday client's phenomenal. I can stick with him, but we got a couple people that are bringing up this aspect of, their thoughts are they're not where they should be. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier with feeling low. But one thing that we did with our Monday client to help shift that is we help the individual find what works for them. So we're bringing you these strategies, but we need them to find the right strategies that work for you specifically to help you move forward, because every person's different. And that's why us in our sessions, we meet you where you're at. Okay. So with our Monday client, we'll stick on his example where he brought up that he was feeling low, he just felt unimportant and everything. His example was he really is into music. He loves law of attraction stuff. He loves spirituality, stuff like that. So we had the idea of what's something you can do to kind of catch, as much as we can say, catch your thoughts. It takes a while to learn and master that. So what's something you can do to catch yourself and start the process? Okay. And he had this bell. It was like an old school bell, and you ring it just like back in the day, a school bell basically. And he'd take it. Well, I've always had this, and I feel maybe this tone, if I ring this. And so, hey, the fact that he brought it up, we're going to use it. So now his goal every day this week, if he finds himself going down a negative route, ring the bell once. That tone is your signal, just like a boxer and a ring bell. That's your signal to shift. And in deeper aspects, when you dive into deeper spirituality stuff, those tones actually have that capability. That's why if you're meditating, there's specific music that you use to help frequency aspects, but they all have these specific tones to help positivity. Connecting that to our individual, that made sense to him. He worked, but that's meeting the client where you're at and helping him move forward in a way that works for him. And he's ecstatic this week. He'll still text me every day and be like, still working. I'm loving this. And that brings me so much joy, because you're seeing someone take the steps, bring the questions, and wants to better themselves. And that's the beauty of any client that comes to us. When you want it, it's yours. It's here. That's the best part.
And to walk along the process that you do and to inspire and to instill, what are some of the techniques you use that you would say your life coaching program really is unique and different?
I think, kind of like we said, bringing the mindset, spirituality, and body aspect trifecta together, that is, it's a work. We have to be able to put the pieces together for an individual. So we've had clients come together with us where their main goal is, I can't live with my anxiety anymore. I have to get rid of it. What can I do? And we bring in strategies that might be related to therapy aspects, might be related to taking action. But again, coming back to it, connecting to the individual specifically, that person with anxiety might have a love for the gym. Okay, is your anxiety related to that, where you're trying to better your body? And that's something that we do, where we literally dive deep with the individual and find what the connector point is. Okay. So from that point on, we could help someone with the fitness aspect, getting them making body goals and improving that, which in turn causes the anxiety to fade away, because it was all related to the confidence you had in yourself and how you looked. So when you're improving that, your anxiety fades. Like, you know what? I feel great. In that piece. So Billie G Life Coaching, connecting it all together, we meet the client where they're at, but we find strategies that work specifically for them with all the everything we've studied and learned, but also help them take the steps necessary that works for that individual and achieving their goals. And that's the fun, of the process. I'll say that. Yeah.
Got it. Well, you know what? It's always fun, process to see the gift that you learn, the knowledge that you gain, the progress that you make. But sometimes it's so hard that you're so deep in your funk, you can't see it all, you can't predict it, you can't, and you're feeling like crap. You're feeling kind of, crappy, like, hey, and how do you give, like, as a coach, those little bits of like encouragement? Because it doesn't all happen at once, and you got to be patient. How do you do that?
I know, and that's 100% does not all happen at once. I like to break it down to 3 pieces for people where I think we might have actually talked about it a couple of interviews ago, but you have your focus point, as we talked about. Everything leads after that. So if we can shift the client's focus or help them do something to shift it, that's step 1. True. If you're still struggling and you're negative and you don't have the strength to shift your thoughts, get up and get moving. I don't care if that I literally have a client, whether it's on Zoom or in person, get up and give me 50 jumping jacks. Like, what? Why? I don't want to. I don't want to talk about this. So what happens when we're actually moving our body differently? We're changing our physiology. Is you're rewiring your brain to literally be more positive, because it's an energy surge through you. So little things that people can take away right now. My first thing is always shift your thoughts. If you can't shift your thoughts, shift your body. If you can shift your body, you will then have the energy to shift your thoughts, which in turn will shift your situation, your experience, your lesson, and help you move forward out of that little moment of negativity. That's something, like I said earlier, our brains are wired to catch the negativity. So if we have blinders on and our life is trying to catch that, it is more of our duty to take those blinders off, do what we need to do to make sure we still see that there's good all around us.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. And what else do you want to share with our listeners today? If you want to go back to our original, area of focus with your power, I want to call it PowerPoint. Do I have focus point power? And everything comes down to the way you feel. Really, you can choose your thoughts.
Yeah, of course. So focus point power, I get that the PowerPoint aspect and everything. That came to us when we were creating this course that we're putting together. I mentioned it a couple of times. It's probably going to launch in a little less than a month, but we were trying to pick this way to help people understand how powerful their focus is. Focus point power. And we dive into different strategies in the course how to do that, which people will be able to learn right away.
Yeah. And then
right. And so if you can, everything comes down to your focus. As we said, it comes down to how you feel. It comes down to your body and everything, shifting that in whatever way possible, whether that's you taking 10 minutes to yourself to go for a walk, meditate, or just, put a TV show on, for however long, just to shift it. That's okay in life. As much as we have a time management and a timetable, that's okay. So focus point power, shifting your focus point, but, kind of bring it all together for people. If everything does come down to how you feel, you choose that with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And, every thought that we have is a question. Ask yourself a better question, you get a better answer, but you choose what that question is. Is it going to be, why do I feel so low today? Even if you do, shift it. How can I feel phenomenal today? How can I feel great today? It's literally going to send your mind for the answer, and it's going to build you up in the process. It's how powerful your thoughts are.
Sure. You're right. Got to get started somewhere. We all do. My goodness. I just love this. Is my favorite time of year. It's the spring, and you always feel inspired. You feel, new beginnings. You feel like, people say New Year's, but New Year's to me now, because it's too cold, at least where I live, but yeah, and then people lose that fat, but spring it's now the time to turn yourself around and to get focused, to get started. Any other tips on doing this, and how do we, can we be better people overall? For those people listening today in their car or home, and they're tuning in right now, how can they start their day better? Give us some tips.
Of course. I'll always start people at ground zero, foundational points. grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, write your goal down. Okay. If your goal is to better yourself in whatever way possible, whether it's fitness, mindset, spirituality, or anything under the sun, you want to be more in tune with a better routine, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write that down. And then ask yourself, what's step one? The babyest step possible that I need to make. What is that baby step? Write it down, and that could be something. That could be someone right now, as you said, driving in the car, where they know that before they go to bed tonight, they have 15 minutes where they're just on their phone scrolling, right? Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Rather than spending 15 minutes doing that, I'm not even going to take the entire thing away. Spend 5 minutes of that thinking to yourself, what can I do tomorrow that will put me in a better direction and better alignment to my goal, to that which I'm seeking? That's the simplest baby step possible. And I'll give this little example before we close everything out. But back in the day, one of my old gyms, old rugged gym, just rusty, heavy weightlifting, chalk everywhere. And one of the older guys, his name was Paul, in his 60s and everything like that. He gave me pointers. He was mentoring me with the entire process of starting your own business and everything. Phenomenal guy. And he came to one of my very first seminars, and he loved it, everything about it. And he came up to me, Bill, that was a great step for yourself. Now, what's the next step?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, this is what I do. And I played out these little baby steps I was taking. He goes, I like it. And then it just came over me. It is the baby steps that you take in life that when you get to where you're trying to get to and look back, is actually the baby steps were the leaps of faith that helped you make the greater distance in the long run.
I like that.
Paul was in his 60s. He took that and he just stunned him in the gym. He goes, all right, I like that. And he just walked away because he was thinking on it. He came back to me 20 minutes later. He was like, I really like that. And it just happened. But it's true. It's your baby steps in life that will truly change you in such an incredible way. So people listening right now, people driving, people wherever you are, take a baby step for yourself and just watch as that starts the process of changing everything for you in such an incredible way, and run with it at that point.
Perfectly said. Thank you. Well, we're almost out of time. It worked out perfectly. Would you mind sharing the best all forms of contact? Of
course. Yeah, guys, you can find me, BillyGLifeCoaching.com. You can see everything that we're all about right there, and set up a free call if you want to. Set up your own free strategy session where we can dive into your goals, dive into your better self you're trying to create, and be there for you. We're in your corner. BillyGLifeCoaching.com. You can go to Instagram at Giannouloudis. Message me, guys. See the content. See if it sparks you, and that's your baby step. I'm right there for you if you need it. Or YouTube, once a week at Billy G. Every single Sunday, we're coming at you with a new video, a new message to help you move forward or help your week and spark you in such a way. It's there for you guys. Run with it.
All right. And we can tune in over the weekend to get the new update.
Exactly. Right. Every Sunday we're there. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Billy G Life Coaching. Have a great day and happy hump day. We'll get through it together, guys. Make the best of it. Enjoy your week. Spring is here. Have no fear. Call Billy G today. All right. Have a good day, sweetheart. And to all of our listeners, we appreciate you as well.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.